put the subscribe button over here. Let's get rid of the star rating. Let's get rid of video responses. I am going to complain about. I want my video responses. So.
Hey everyone, it's Presley at ActiveGames.com here, and today we're going to be talking about what's going on with YouTube, because there's been a few changes.
I don't know, it's sad to say that it's a little too vague to say what's going on with YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's so much going on with YouTube. And I love YouTube.
Yeah.
I love YouTube. I love the people that we know that work at YouTube. I love that we do YouTube video. Like, I love YouTube, so I'm not gonna make a video bashing YouTube.
No, I mean, we're not here to bash you, please.
Because I love YouTube. Like, I don't have bad things to say about YouTube. And like, we have an interesting perspective on it, I think, because you and I certainly aren't too concerned with the monetary aspects of YouTube.
Not really.
So you don't even really know about it.
No.
Right, and I don't much. Like, I kind of, at least I know, I have access to see the stuff behind the scenes, but I don't pay much attention to it, right? Yeah, you don't look at it, I don't really look at it and pay much attention to it. And we don't put any thought into, like, chasing the trends and trying to figure out, like, trying to make money on YouTube, like, specifically, right? And therefore, we don't make money on YouTube. Like, we've never really made money on, we don't make any money on YouTube, right? But that's not why we do it. It's not why you wanted to do it when you first started doing it. It's not why we make videos. We make videos because we have fun. Like the podcast. Like, I don't know if anybody listens to that podcast.
But it's fun.
But it's a lot of fun to make, right? And so I enjoy it. And so we're going to keep making it because we have fun making it, right? But there is a lot of conversation going on about this latest change. And I thought it was kind of worth talking about, certainly. So you know exactly what's happening.
Right.
And so the big change is about monetization, which, again, I don't care a ton about monetization, but I'll tell you why I do care in a second. We'll look back to why it matters. I'll tell you why I care about this change.
Oh, okay.
Even though the change is a monetization change. So the change is, in order to monetize your channel, which means run ads, in order to enable ads to run on your channel, you now have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have had 4,000 hours of watch time in the past year.
That's a lot of hours.
Not like in 2017, but like in the past 365 days. So like a rolling window. I mean, it's still the same thing. But it's like a rolling window of a year. You have to keep 4,000 hours. And like, I don't know how often they're going to checkpoint that and see, and if they do it every day, and if you hit a point where you dip below 4,000 hours in the past 365 days, you get demonetized. And then somebody watches a video and you get remonetized. Like, I don't know how they're going to keep track of. Like, the detail and level of grain, I don't think we've seen. I mean, maybe once a month they look at the end of every month. They look and see if you have hit that 4,000 hours, and that is a lot. So 4,000 hours, it's what do we come up with? Like 240,000 minutes of view time, which is a lot. And so I think we're back now. We were saying it's like maybe 100,000 views. Like, if you're a little over a minute and a half or so, like average view time is 2 minutes, minute and a half, something like that. You're probably somewhere around 100,000 views to be able to get that view time. And so from a monetization standpoint, so I'm going to go back to one thing that Susan said. So Susan, in one of the interviews that we were talking about, you know Susan?
Yeah, Susan Wojcicki.
Susan Wojcicki. So Susan said that 99% of the channels that will be demonetized, she said affected by this change, but that means demonetized, they make less than $100 a year. So clearly that's not their primary source of income. It's not their primary income stream. And so she's sort of downplaying it as, you know, we're only impacting people. People are going to make less money, but it's a tiny amount of money. It's $100 a year that these people are making, or less. And so it's not a huge impact on these channels. And the reason they're doing it is because of all of the ad gate stuff that's been going on, like advertisers finding out that their ads are playing on videos that they think are inappropriate. And they're like, oh my goodness, I thought you guys were paying attention to what our ads ran on, and I had no idea my ad was running on this video from this person who's problematic, right? And so YouTube is trying to walk this balance between they make their money off ad revenue, creators make their money off ad revenue, and so they're trying to keep the advertisers happy so the advertisers stay.
Right.
And the requirement for doing that is making sure the ads only play on content that they want their stuff to play on. Right? And so they want to be able to screen stuff, and they want people to not be able to game the system as easily and go buy a bunch of clicks, like views, and have bots to sort of do a bunch of views and stuff. Because the old requirement used to be like 15,000 lifetime views. I think if you had 15,000 lifetime views, no matter how much,
10,000.
10,000 lifetime views. So no matter how long they watched or what they did, if you had 10,000 views over the life of your channel, then you could run ads.
Right.
And so they're changing it now, so you get this 1,000 subscriber limit and the 4,000 hours in the previous year. So the other thing is, if you buy a bunch of views, like if you started a channel and you bought a bunch of views at the beginning, then that would unlock monetization and you would have monetization forever. Whereas now, like if you bought all of these views, then like a year later when those fell off, you would lose monetization or you would have to buy whatever. You can't. They're trying to make it harder to game the system. And like I said, I don't care as much about the fact that you have to jump through some hoops to run ads on your channels. So fewer channels will run ads, so YouTube will be able to screen them better in theory. And the higher level, like the upper echelon of creators, that there's like a preferred advertiser package kind of thing. They're saying now those will get human eyes on those videos. So a person will look and make sure that those videos are okay at YouTube before ad run on them to assure the advertisers. So all of that's kind of what people are up in arms about right now. But where that does impact things, and where we don't know the answer to this yet, is for a channel that's below that threshold, which at least one of yours is,
right?
And Cooper's is. If you're below that threshold, then you're not running ads, and so is YouTube less incentivized to suggest your video, like in the suggested videos column. And when you watch a video, and over here, these are the videos we want you to watch. Are they only going to suggest videos that are ad enabled because they generate ad revenue for YouTube and for those creators? And so it becomes a lot harder than to grow a channel that's small if you're not getting recommendations, because for most people, most of your views come from recommended videos, right, or suggested videos. And so how this change is going to impact how our videos get suggested, there could be a big impact there. Like, I'm really curious what that is. And I need to do some more research. I know Hank did like a live stream on it today, maybe, or yesterday, and some other people have been talking about this. And so I want to kind of find out what that impact is, because as we try and grow our channels and do these smaller things, you do want people to see it. Like, you don't care as much about the revenue, but it would be nice if somebody watched a video every once in a while. And commenting on a video every once in a while, and so you want to get it out there. And the only thing that I'm concerned about here is how this is going to impact whether the videos get suggested to other people or not. Right. And so that if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, or you haven't watched a video over on Bite Size, or That's a Great Question, or even Hisashi Buddy, we'll put links down in the description to the other channels. Go watch a video just once and give us a couple of minutes of view time. So by the end of next month, maybe we'll get those other channels above that threshold and they can be recommended. That would be awesome. But yeah, like that's kind of what's going on in the YouTube space right now. And I know you don't pay too much attention to the mechanic of this. You just like making videos, which is awesome, and I love that about that's why we're doing it. But I'm curious, like, now that you know some of the details about it, what do you think about it?
I don't know, like, it's definitely a paradox, or, well, not a paradox, but you know what I'm talking, well, you know what I'm saying.
Like killing your own grandfather?
Yeah, it's exactly like killing your own grandfather.
Okay.
It definitely creates this...
A catch-22?
Maybe. I don't know what catch-22 is, and you keep using that around me, so...
I've decided I'm never going to tell Presley what a catch-22 is, so that I can just keep saying it all the time, and she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
That's like the one thing I'm not going to teach her.
It's a movie.
It's what a catch-22 is, just so I can reference it all the time. Right.
But anyway, sure, like, it's a catch, definitely. Where, like, if you have a small channel, and it doesn't have ads, it's really hard to grow it and then get ads.
Right.
And it seems really weird. The whole thing, I don't know, the monetization thing.
But, you know, it could be good for Act Out Games because we're above that threshold. And so if it is the case that channels that have ads enabled are more often suggested, then that would mean Act Out Games get suggested more. which means it would be good for us in that way, but that still doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that just feels morally wrong to be taking from these other people.
Right, like you want new stuff, but it also feels wrong. Like not too long ago, there was a perception, like nobody knows how any of this stuff works because it's all inside baseball for YouTube.
Yeah.
But there was a perception at least that newer channels were being heavily favored. That if you've been around and you were an established channel and you'd built a brand, that you were not being suggested as often as a brand new channel that was coming up. And that doesn't feel right either.
Right.
Like you don't necessarily want to give obviously you want preferential treatment to go to the better content, but better content is different for every person.
Yeah.
Some people will like one video, some people will like another. Like it's a really hard problem to solve.
Right.
Like I think that's one of the fundamental things that everybody has to understand, that there's not a good answer for how to do any of this stuff.
Right.
And so YouTube is really trying the best that they can to solve these problems in a programmatic way. Like they can't just have somebody watch every video that gets submitted and make determinations about how user-friendly it is, because it's just years and years and years of content that gets uploaded every day.
Right.
And so the volume is too great for them to be able to do some things that maybe they could have done in the past, right? And YouTube is also no longer able to do something they did before, which was kind of wash their hands of the content and just say, we're just a platform. Like we're a place people can upload videos. We don't really police those videos. And if you want to run ads on the videos, that's fine. You can run ads and we'll randomly assign them out to people to go watch these. And so they used to be a lot more hands-off and just, we're a platform, the content is not us. But then they started creating content with YouTube Red. Yeah. And there was the first adpocalypse that happened that made them advertisers started leaving YouTube because of the way that ads were playing on videos they didn't like. So YouTube had to respond and say, okay, we're going to get a better screening process in place so that advertisers will stay with us, because that's how YouTube stays in business. Like the alternative is YouTube just shuts its doors. And if they don't make money through ad revenue, they don't make money. And so they have to find a way to keep the advertisers happy, but they want to keep the creators happy. So I do not envy in any way the situation that YouTube is in. And our friends that are over at YouTube, I feel for them.
Right.
And what they have to do to work this out.
Whoa. Is that a sign I should not say what I was about to say?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There's gotta be a different way that benefits everybody, or that benefits more people, like a channel by channel.
All right, so this is an interesting thing. That's a good thing you brought up, and I don't want to dive into a deep hole because I was hoping this was going to be a really short video. But so remember we talked about in general, like success is not a zero-sum game. Remember we talked about zero-sum games? Like, but more than one person can win.
Yes. Okay.
Right. The me winning doesn't mean you losing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So in general, success is not a zero-sum game. Like you don't have to, like when you see the whole thing about women attacking women, like when we go to the women's event and they're talking about you don't have to attack another woman because she's successful.
Right.
Because her being successful doesn't make you unsuccessful. You can both be successful. Right. In some areas of YouTube, like view minutes, like there are a certain number of minutes of eyes on YouTube in any given day, and those eyes have to go somewhere, right? And so it is a little bit of a zero-sum game in some of those ways. Like if you're going to spend 15 minutes on YouTube today watching videos, then you're only going to spend 15 minutes. Like you can't watch every video on YouTube.
Of course.
You're only going to watch 15 minutes of videos, and something has to make the choice of which videos you watch for 15 minutes. And while you're making the choice of which ones you're going to click on, YouTube has to make a decision of which ones are we going to put in front of you when you go search for something or when you watch a video and we suggest a new video. And so they can't suggest every video on the platform.
Right.
And so they have to suggest, here are 3 videos we think you might like. And so they have to build some kind of an algorithm to say, what do we know about you? What do we know about people who liked this video? What do we know about all? I mean, there's some relatively sophisticated ways that you can do that, but you're still picking winners and losers.
Right.
And so it can't be fair to everyone, because like fair to everyone would be random maybe, or it would be everybody has to look at everything. Like there's no forced ranking of what the results are.
Yeah.
So fair, I think fair is actually a hard thing to do, and it's a lot. It's too much to ask for in this case.
There should be.
It won't be fair.
Right. And completely unrelated, there should be a random feature on YouTube that takes you to a random.
Yeah, is there
channel.
not? Like on the Google homepage, the feeling lucky button kind of thing. Is
There
there
should
not
be
the equivalent?
one.
There should
That
totally
would be
be
cool.
that.
And then it would be more.
Like shuffle.
Search for something and hit the feeling lucky button and a video plays.
Or just generally, you could just show me something.
Show me random search results.
Or show me just take me to a video or a channel.
Even without searching. Just a random video. Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be cool.
Like the ability to randomize your search results, that may be an interesting thing. Like take the top 10,000 results and then just show them to me in a random order.
And that would be helpful. It would be helpful.
I think it would not be helpful more often than it would be helpful, but I agree that every once in a while you would find some hidden gem and you would be like, oh my god, this thing's really awesome.
Right.
But I think like the other 99 times out of 100 you would be like, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? But if you could choose to do that every once in a while, I think that would be awesome.
Right, that'd be cool.
Or like maybe randomizing like one result into the top front page. Like each page gets one kind of random result thrown into it to just kind of,
even without that button,
you know, throw some stuff in. Like there's a couple of things you could do to kind of maybe
make
add some variety.
I make the search results better.
But making it fair, I think, is a lot to ask because there is no definition of fair. Like to say it should be fair is easy, but to say what is fair in a search engine, that's not as easy to do.
I guess more fair as in, like, advertisers could blacklist certain tags or certain people or something like that, so that, because like you have this point that, and this might go a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but you have this point where like some people are making content for the blacklisted.
Yeah, right. No, so I think YouTube will have to get to a place eventually. Like right now, YouTube is sort of saying this is content friendly and this is not content friendly. I think YouTube eventually has to get out of that business. I think they've had to get into that business because it was the fastest way to appease the advertisers. I think eventually they have to get out of that business and get in the business of tagging content and saying, okay, this content, there's a lot of profanity in this, and this is going on over here. But some business may be like, oh, those are my people. Like those are the guys I want my ad to run for because I'm selling a product that teaches cool profanity.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, Cards Against Humanity. It's exactly right. It rhymes with profanity. And so I want to advertise to those people. And so YouTube is probably actually restricting somebody like that from advertising to people they want to advertise to right now.
Right, because you don't want a Cards Against Humanity ad on your children's content.
Yeah, right, yeah. So getting to that and getting to where you're tagging content, and we've even talked about maybe you get in the place, if you look at where film went and where music industry went and even TV went, there's a lot of self-regulation and self-rating, like the whole movie rating system. That's not a government thing. Like they sort of do that as an organization. TVMA, explicit lyric warnings, like all of those kinds of things are industries trying to sort of regulate themselves and let people know what you're getting. And I think YouTube may end up having to go down that road at some point. But I think that's in the future. But I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
With your big point there, I agree. Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, do we have anything else to cover, or is that the video?
I think that's it. Like I just want, like everybody's kind of talking about it, and I know that, like because of some of the chaos that has happened in the past year or maybe 2 years or however long it's been, it feels like it's been a long time. People have a fatigue syndrome with YouTube. Because there's been so much change happening. And I think a lot of the people that have that fatigue response are people who chase the algorithm a little bit. Not everyone. Like I'm not making a blanket statement that everybody that's complaining is doing this. I don't want people yelling at me. But I think a lot of people that are doing that are people that sort of chase the algorithm and say, oh, YouTube is favoring this kind of behavior, so let's start doing that.
Yeah.
And then you start committing to that, and suddenly YouTube changes who they favor. And then they're like, oh, what? That sucks. Now I have to change and do everything this way now so that YouTube will favor my content. And YouTube's response is always, no, just make good content. Don't worry about what we're doing behind the scenes. And that's all well and good, but people are going to worry about it. And you want, to the best of your ability, for people to see your videos and to sort of do that. But I think if you go too far down the road of, I'm going to optimize what I do to YouTube's current implementation of the algorithm, you're going to get screwed over when they change the algorithm, and then when they change the algorithm, and then when they change the algorithm. Well, if you make
neutral content that doesn't go towards either algorithm, then you have a higher chance.
They're just saying, look, just make the best videos you can, and make the videos that you want to make, and the videos that make you happy, and sooner or later, the algorithm will catch up with you, and everything will be all good. But people who make a living doing this, that's like, it's an easy statement for us to say because we don't care about how much money we make on YouTube, right? It's a harder statement if somebody's making a living on it and they've quit their jobs and they're working and this is what they do 100% of the time, and then YouTube changes the algorithm and suddenly they're not making money. to pay their mortgage and do these kinds of things. And there are people that we know that have had like teams of people working for them because they were doing really successfully on YouTube, and they've had to lay people off, and people are thinking about going back to work, and people have gone back to work. And so like that's a huge impact.
Yeah.
Right? And YouTube never promised them anything and sort of made a commitment that like they didn't have a job and a contract, and even that doesn't matter in this day and age, but they didn't have that kind of a commitment. But YouTube has to be a little bit better about being aware of people that are in this situation and what the impacts of these kinds of changes can be to those people. Like again, it's not an easy problem to solve, and I do not envy the people that are over there that are trying to solve these problems. I feel for both sides. Like certainly some of our friends that have been hurt by it, it's really sad to see, and it's frustrating because you don't know why it's happening and what's happening behind the scenes and what's driving it in those cases, and I can see the frustration that's happening there. So I think YouTube probably becomes more open over time. They can't expose how the algorithm works because people would game it.
Yeah.
But I think they have to be a little more, open and honest with people whose lives are really being impacted by what's happening to them, by the changes that they're making out there. But overall, I think they're doing a really good job at a really tough problem, and they're the ones that are solving this problem. Like they're victims of their own success. Like this enormous platform. This is where you go to watch online video, and you do these things. So they're having to cut through all of this and create all of this stuff out of thin air. Like it doesn't exist. It's not like there's something you can go to the software store and buy a thing that says, hey, scan my videos and tell me which ones are ad friendly.
Right.
Like they have to invent all of that stuff. And so, yeah, they deserve a little bit of a break, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
To get that done.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it just feels like not that long ago, there was a star rating system, and there's a subscribe button up there, and you could have background.
It has changed. It has changed a lot.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's kind of like when you go to a store every once in a while. Like sometimes you'll walk in a store that you go to all the time, and everything will be different.
Yeah.
And it's just because like the people that work there just kind of needed something to do.
It's like Forever 21. They changed where everything is. Always.
Like that person would just be standing there reading a book behind the counter if you didn't like have them rearrange the store every once in a while. And so maybe there were a bunch of developers and UX and UI guys at YouTube that were like, we got the star rating, we got the subscriber buttons right there. We're kind of good. Let's take a vacation. They're like, no, put the subscribe button over here. Let's get rid of the star rating. Let's get rid of video responses. I am going to complain about. I want my video responses. So maybe like sometimes there's change for change's sake, but yeah, it's not that anymore.
It's been a while.
It has.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to press the subscribe button to see more videos like this.
There'll be links to all the other channels down there, so you can go give us a couple of minutes. Post in the comments below if you need a couple of minutes, and everybody can. If you post a link to your channel, it may go to the like blocked little thing, but we'll turn them back on for this video to let everybody shout out your channels down there.
Make a 4,000-hour video, and we'll just leave it on the background.
You just need one person to watch it,
and we'll be good.
Yeah,
we'll leave it in the background.
You'll be all set. Okay, cool.
Thank you guys. Well, we already did that. Whatever. Bye. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to press the subscribe button to see more videos like this, and check out the channels in our description and in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.